Yes, sir.
What financial strategies have you used to grow and expand? Has it been the same or varied ones? You mentioned bonds before. Bonds haven't really paid.
Excuse me?
You mentioned
Bonds, yes. We have raised, when we started buying brands, we bought Perry Ellis and Manhattan and John Henry in 1999, and we paid about $125 million for those brands. And we went ahead and we learned what a high yield bond was, and we raised about $150 million in bonds. And then in 2003, we did a $50 million deal, which allowed us to buy the Janssen trademark from VF Corporation. And then in 2004, we went back into the streets and we bought Perry Ellis, the licensing piece, which really gave us the opportunity to manufacture product. So we have been in the bonds world for a long time. We currently have about $150 million in bonds. And you know, we've always seen it as a good vehicle to have long-term financing in place. And our bondholders love us. Our bonds usually trade at par, if not plus par. And we do very well in the bond market as well as the equity market. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Tony, may I speak if I'm not a student?
Of course you can speak, I'm sorry.
Congratulations, you have a beautiful business and family story.
Thank you.
How you compare your business model with that of Sara?
With who?
Sara.
Zara.
Sara.
Zara.
Spanish, which is similar.
Yes,
Sarah?
Zara is a Spanish. I don't know if all of you who know Zara. Zara is a Spanish success story from Spain. That our differences are that they are vertical. We are not vertical. So we are vertical, and as well as we're not vertical. We have we sell to the retail stores our brand. So we use their outlets to promote our brands. Where Zara makes everything for themselves. They also do a lot more solids. We are more about fashion. They're fashion. I'm not saying that they're not fashion, but they're able to turn because they own the factories very quickly. And their whole gimmick, like H&M, is being able to deliver product every 6 weeks is new. Very low levels of inventory, high fashion, being able to turn very quickly. That's their model. We call it disposable fashion because usually after a while it's...
Well, the issue of that many of the students are interested in, because they take, with Professor Greengarden, they take branding and our professors marketing and branding. And I know you mentioned the brand, high quality, high price. How do you go about, you have brand managers that develop this, how do you go about maintaining and expanding your brand? I mean, that's a...
Well, we have we started from the bottom. You know, that was our first big major customer was Kmart. So we sell still today we sell Kmart. And a funny story, I'm going to go back one just to let you know. When we went public and we were doing $33 million and we were on the road shows trying to sell investors, 45% of our business in 1993 was Kmart Corporation. 94 it was 0, and we still grew almost 100% in revenue. So here again, it was all based upon great product, being able to drive your product, your vision, and we weren't scared. And you know, talking about bonds, one of the biggest criticisms that we have sometime today in Wall Street, not anymore because after 2008, you see you don't. Our balance sheet is very good. But we were always criticized because we had too much debt. But if you have security in yourself and your ability that you can conquer and you feel that you are strong, we never felt that debt was a big issue because we knew that the only way we were going to get to the next level is being aggressive, be very flexible as well as you can. We sell all channels of distribution. We believe in leveraging our infrastructure as much as possible. So every brand has its own design team. Every brand has its own marketing team. And every brand has its own vision of what it stands for. And that's why that's why we have so many brands, because every retailer wants its own feel. Every retailer wants its own brand. So the only reason why we have so many brands is really because we leverage one of the brands. So Perry Ellis exists in Kohl's. John Henry is the Perry Ellis at Sears. And that's how that's why we need such a big portfolio of brands. And that's how we've been able to grow our business, and by calling on all channels of distribution. So we sell everybody from Neiman Marcus to Walmart currently today. Any questions from students? Yes, sir.
I'm not a student, sorry. I know that, having been an entrepreneur myself at one point in my life, there were days when I wondered whether it was still worth it. You know that sometimes the money seemed to be about to run out, or the economy would take a downturn right when we were made a big purchase. How do you get through those times and still maintain your
Sanity? Well, my first granddaughter, Haley, was born in March of 2008, and we were sitting there. My daughter Jennifer had just given birth to our first granddaughter, and we were sitting there, and Bear Stearns collapsed that day. And we were looking at the television. I'm saying, "Oh my God, the world is going to cave in," etc. It made me a stronger person, to be honest with you. And as I mentioned to you, in 1993. When I went public, I didn't expect Kmart to file for bankruptcy in '95 and us to be out of Kmart. But you know what? If you have the instincts, the gut that allows you to have that confidence level that really nothing is unattainable without having a passion, you can drive anything. I mean, you look at the other day, what's that company that was just bought? Instagram, that was just bought for $1 billion in 60 days or 90 days that they've been in existence, whatever they've been. I honestly think that in today's day and age, we live in a great country that gives us all the opportunities, regardless of what we think of the government. But there's a lot of opportunities out there today, and it's really what you have to drive home. And I visit stores as much as I can. I'm a big believer in that, and I tell that to all my managers. You don't visit your stores, you don't visit your competitors, you're not going to be ahead of the game. If you're going to lay back and you're going to spend Friday, Saturday, and Sunday home, which I believe family time is also very important, but you have to devote yourself. If you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to be a businessman that's successful, you got to go to the stores. You got to see what's happening. You got to talk to the people on the floor, the lowest common denominator in the store. You got to be able to speak to them, because those are the ones that bring you the most talent. Those are the ones that give you the ideas to generate to go to the next level. That's by the way, I sleep like a baby. I sleep for 5 hours and I cry for 5 hours. So.
A couple of more questions from students. Yes.
Yes. I've lived in California and Washington, D.C., and I'm down here looking at some of the dynamics here. I see a lot of people that come in from other countries seem to be accumulating the property, running the businesses. You've been working with all kinds of people out there. Can you tell me some of the reasons that maybe the people that are born here don't have the same success, or seem to be falling behind the people that are actually coming in from other countries here? What do you say?
I think people in Miami sometimes are scared of the international market, and they don't understand about the international market. I think that would be one. But I don't see, I see that the people that came from Cuba in the 60s, and the people that were here in Florida, that were born in Florida, did very, very, very extremely well. Most of the success stories here locally in Miami and even in Broward are really entrepreneurial success of people that started from nothing, just ideas. Carnival Cruise Lines, may he rest in peace. Ted Aronson, started with, I remember his story was Michelin Rookless, which was really Grand Rapid America. I mean, there's 100 stories like that. It's being able to connect, and networking in my eyes is very, very important. I'm a big network guy. I go to events as much as I can. I talk to people, and as I stated in my speech, you gotta ask questions. One of my flights to Asia, my first flights, I sat next to a Japanese guy, and he says, "You ask a lot of questions." And I said, "I'm sorry, sir, I'll let you sleep." He says, "No, it's okay, you can ask me as many questions, you're a wise man." So I always ask, and I try to network as much as I can. So I wouldn't be scared of international. I think Miami is the state of Florida is great because it brings it's a melting pot for everybody else. And you look today, you have in Sunny Isles, you have a Russian population growing,
Yes.
you have a Brazilian population growing, so you have so much here that you don't get that in California. I mean, with all due respect, I love LA, and there's nothing wrong with Los Angeles, but you just have such an international market here. And it's the most difficult market to succeed, by the way. Mervyn's didn't succeed here. Lord & Taylor didn't succeed here. Zayre's didn't succeed. I mean, I can name hundreds of retailers that have been here and just didn't succeed. Why? Because they didn't understand the consumer here locally. That's really the key. We don't have the same consumer base that New York or whatever.
I think that's a very
I think this young lady had a question
Yes.
she wanted to ask.
Go ahead.
I can't remember exactly what it was now, but I'm quite intrigued by internet commerce, and I was wondering how that's affected your company and how much traffic you actually have going through your website.
Well, currently today we operate four or five e-commerce platform that we sell, and then we are trying to. It has woken up a lot of opportunities for us because the unfortunate situation, and one thing that I would recommend all of you become e-commerce savvy. Understand you're at an age of this world, and you can understand this world because you are growing up in a world that is all based on technology that I did not have. When I used to travel, I had to go to a payphone to make a call. You have a phone next to you. You have an internet that's available to you on a mobile application. Most of you have iPhones, or you have some form of connection, an Android or etc. So I am a big believer, and today that's our biggest challenge and opportunity is trying to find talent that understands this world, that can talk to this world. Because you look at Amazon today, Walmart would never have expected that somebody was going to be bigger than them on the internet. And it was sheer because they saw an opportunity to go after while the other one was not doing it. And that's what creates opportunities, and that's where you see Amazon today that goes out and buys Zappos, who's the greatest shoe retailer in the world. Nordstrom's had to go out and buy Hot Look because they had to figure out how to do flash sales, and they paid $186 million for it. So there is a lot of opportunities. I personally, if I was in all of your shoes, I would really figure out how to become proficient in this world out there today. That I'm 52 years old. This is a brand new world today for me that I never experienced. I mean, my daughters don't have phones in their rooms. They have a cell phone. That's how they communicate. They don't even watch TV today. So it's a different mentality out there today that unfortunately it's a different culture that we weren't brought up to be that way.
Remember taking your computer courses and your web-based courses seriously, folks. Seriously.
With all respect, you're as successful and rich businessman. How do you protect your money?
How do I protect my money? I give it to my wife and my children. I don't know. I don't. That's the least of my worries. I think banks in the United States today are in pretty decent shape, and I don't think we have that many issues with banks here anymore. Or you hire an investor, a wealth manager that can help you manage your income and manage it for you. It allows you to invest it and put it in securities or bonds or invest it in real estate or in businesses for you. So, yes, sir.
Were you affected by the recession? The recession?
Oh, I was very affected by the recession. We lost $200 million in customers like that, out the door one day, from 08 to 09. Went out, right out the door. But you rebuild, you know. Opportunities come every single day. And read a lot, very important. Read. The more you read, the smarter you are. Either on the internet or a newspaper.
Listen to that, yeah.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned the relationship you have with you and your father, and how he was able to, mentor you along the way. What do you think is the best approach for a student to acquire a mentor?
Well, if you don't know a mentor that can mentor you, today you have the internet. I would write. Today, most people are accessible via LinkedIn or Facebook or somewhere. Look for a local company that you feel that person can help you, and write them a letter or write them an email and ask them if they can mentor, if it's the profession that you feel that it's the right thing to do. But I always love to talk to people that are older than me. And I was growing up, I always asked people, I always liked to mingle with my father's friends because I learned from them, and that's how I got smarter, and that's how I built a lot of base for my future. So that's what I would recommend. And today, communications, you can talk to anybody today. It's very easy. It's not that difficult.
Any other questions?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. In your speech, you mentioned that innovation is a very important part of the company. And I was going to ask you what trends do you see are going to be popular in the future? Like, because I keep my eye on it, and I see that a lot of manufacturing companies implement technology in their clothes. So, what do you think about it?
The next trends?
Yes,
Well,
next
what's
trend.
selling right now is there's the mega trends that are happening in today's day and age on the men's side, and I'll go into the ladies' side later. On the men's side, it's all driven by color. It's very, very important. As you see, I came very stylish for you. I wore pink socks also. So it's all about color. And the other thing that's happening is that there's a change in specs. You know what specs means? And how the product is fitted today. So you're having a classic fit in the stores and you have a slim fit in the stores. That's what's really creating a lot of change, and it's creating a lot of replenishment where people are trying on this new slim fit and better specs on merchandise, and we look better, trimmer, and it looks, better on us, and that's what's changing. On the ladies' side, the women's business has been a little bit challenging in the last 5 years, and what's trending that is prints as well as color are the big changes that you're seeing, and as well as all these fit solutions, may it be on dresses, may it be on pants, may it be on whatever the item may be. Those are the big trends. There is a big trend that today a lot of technology is beginning to, we're trying to connect technology to apparel. 2 weeks ago, I was in Palm Beach with my wife, and we're talking to an attorney that's trying to create this apparel that's geared for the techie guy, that it's wrinkle-free, you can put it in a bag that's this size, it doesn't wrinkle when you take it out of a suitcase. So there's a lot of things that are going on right now geared for that world right now.
Yeah, I was talking about implementing of technology like smart clothes. Let's say, do you work on it? Like, let's say you're gonna have a T-shirt that's not gonna get dirty anytime because you had like a special.
It's not going to get dirty?
Yeah.
Well, there's
Like technology, like. Yeah.
no, what there is, let me explain it. We do a lot of golf shirts. So golf knits, what's happening is that synthetics, which is polyester, is becoming much more popular because you can actually put some chemicals into the fabric, and they are antimicrobial. There are some fabrics that are how do you call it? Anti-perspiration or sweating, whatever. There's a lot of new technology that's coming out, which is a good question. The issue is how much will a consumer pay more for all of those attributes? Because if you know, like the Nike jacket you have on, if you paid, I don't know, $10 for it, would you pay me $20 if it had something on it that you could wear it forever and you never had to wash it and it never faded colors? You don't know. I don't think you would want to keep a jacket for more than 5 years, let's say, and you would want to throw it away afterwards or get something new or give it down to somebody else, maybe your brother, your sister, or your boyfriend, or her boyfriend, whatever. So the issue is how much do you want to keep a garment for? And the more you perfect the garment, the less people would buy it as replacement. You know, so you have to be careful how much you add to it. Yes.
In department stores, do you actually go in and pick the sections and where you want to market to? I mean, as far as like, you know, you walk into Macy's and Perry Ellis will be set up right next to different brands and stuff. How do you actually go into Macy's and let them know that this is where we want to be marketing and this is the type of crowd that we want to appeal to?
Good question. When you deal with department stores today and you have what we would consider Perry Ellis or some of our golf brands to be, those are collection brands. So a collection usually has more than one component. So you have to have a shirt, you have a pants, you have a jacket, you have a knit shirt, you might have a pair of pants, you might have a short. That's a collection. And every brand has to stand for something. Who was my competitor? So Perry Ellis' biggest competitor would be Calvin Klein or Kenneth Cole. So within the Macy's stores, I have to be next to Calvin Klein or Kenneth Cole or near Kenneth Cole also. Because our Perry Ellis brand is a dressy brand. It's not a casual brand. So Nike wants to be next to Reebok and next to Adidas or next to Puma. That's how you differentiate yourself. That's how you generate the space in the store. And when you sit with the department stores like Macy's, you sit down and you say, okay, well, I'm going to bring you a brand called Perry Ellis, and my adjacencies, which is what they call it, that's a terminology, has to be near Calvin Klein and Kenneth Cole. I can't be near Tommy Hilfiger because Tommy Hilfiger consumer is not going to wear Perry Ellis. He might, maybe, but it's not really who we want to attract. So you got to be very careful on your adjacencies in the stores. And that's how you build a plan with your department stores, and that's how we work it with them when we're selling a brand. Yes, sir.
When you got the Kmart account, can you describe the process of how you got your foot in the door to get the interviews and how you had to negotiate with them where you actually got, because that was a significant account?
I saw that by going to the stores. In those days, I went into a lot of the Kmart doors, and I'm a big niche player. So I look for niches. And I saw a niche in Kmart that they had these stores that were situated in Hispanic population. And I saw, by sitting in the parking lot, that Hispanics weren't going in to buy unless they were buying food, or in those days they weren't even doing groceries. So it was really food or whatever they were selling in those days, a little bit of apparel. They also had the sizes that were wrong. So a young lady asked me, how do I go into markets? Well, first thing you got to do in markets is analyze the sizing. Because if I have a store on XYZ, if that store, 5-mile radius, is populated by Hispanics, and I have double extra large and triple extra large, Hispanics are not that big. You know, I'm 5'9½", and I am not, you know, I'm big this way, but I'm not big this way. So I got to make sure I have the right sizing. So I went after them and I said, listen, the only way you're going to talk to the Hispanic consumer is having this guayabera. And they listened and they tested it. I'm a big tester, so I tested the item. It was extremely successful. I started traveling around and trying to find out where the Hispanic population was growing, and that's how we started. They built confidence, which is really what's key to a success. When you have a relationship, it's like with anybody, you have to have that confidence level. They had confidence in us. They had security in us that whatever they did that we brought them to the table, they were going to be successful. They were going to be confident in giving us the opportunity. So as I grew with Guayaberas, I started going in and I said, hey, listen, you have these stores that can sell much more fashionable product. They're located, like they have a store on Biscayne Boulevard across the street from Quayside, which is 109th Street around there. Well, Quayside apartment buildings in those days were selling for $200,000. The neighborhood in the back was Miami Shores. So I said to him, we could sell better product. Let's test it. And that's how I basically, little by little, I started inching up. And I visited them as much as possible. Every time I went to Kmart, every month or twice a month, I brought them something new. And when I brought them something new, they saw me so often that I always got an order, regardless if they were looking to buy something, because they wanted me to get out of there.
That test marketing part, I think that was key though. When they saw that your product would move, that gave them more confidence to give you more chances.
Yeah, and we tested and we built a niche. We went after the Hispanic business, and then I helped them on the fashion side. I told them prints were going to be very strong, and that's how we started. We brought them silk prints, and that's how I got the $8 million order. I remember I was sitting in a meeting just like this, and I brought in an item, and Don Keeble, who was the head of merchandising in those days, said to me, I want that item on the front page of my circular for Thanksgiving weekend, Black Friday. I want to put this in the front, $8.99. And my head buyer came over to me. He says, listen, don't be a king overnight. Make sure that you buy. Let me take these 1 million units that I'm going to give you. Let me give some of it to another vendor, because if you can't deliver 100% and something messes up, you're going to look still like a king, because somebody else is going to get in behind you, in front of you, until you deliver the product. And I listened to him, and I delivered 100%, and from there it flourished into a phenomenal business, and that's how I built my career. But always going into the stores. I did my homework before I went, and I found my niche that I could stand for something, because if I didn't, it's going to be very, very difficult to compete with bigger companies than us.
Yeah, that was a good detailed explanation. I appreciate that.
Thank you, sir. Yes. Ma'am, you go first.
Okay, so I see that you have a number of different brands. My question is, how does pricing affect the way these brands compete successfully?
Well, every retailer has its price formula. So when you sell, a Neiman Marcus, you can't be too cheap, because if not, they ain't gonna buy it. They want their product to be expensive. If you sell Kmart, the higher the price is, they won't sell the product either. So like I'm in negotiations now with Walmart. So I was there last week and I showed them a pair of shorts, a golf short as an example, and they said to me, well, this short at XYZ, I'm going to use a price $10. At $10, we can sell 100,000 units. But if you give me this same short at $7.50, I can sell 500,000 units. So I go back, I sit down with my sourcing team, my design team, and we look at different variations of fabrics, because the cost of manufacturing a 10 or a 750 short is the same exact thing. The only thing that changes is the fabric. So I have to look for a fabric that you can actually manufacture, that you can use to make a 750 short and sell it. I'd rather sell 500,000 shorts than 100,000 units in shorts. And we have come up with a strategy to be able to achieve 500,000 shorts. And that's how you have to understand the sourcing side. I went to Asia in 1980. I spent, 8 weeks in Asia. I went to I went to as many factories and locations as possible as I could. I went to the mills and I understood what I had to understand on the mill side. I went to the factory side. So I knew that if I was manufacturing in Taiwan or if I was manufacturing in Korea, one was cheaper than the other. And that's how I taught myself. And that's why every price is different. That's how you differentiate. But every retailer has various price points. Yes, sir.
Yeah, nowadays some business entrepreneurs, they try to involve in some social entrepreneurship. Is Peruvian trying to involve in social entrepreneurship?
Yeah, we do a lot of, Anita, maybe you can help me on that one. Anita's our CFO.
You mean in terms of social compliance?
No, I'm talking about like one helping people.
Helping people, yeah, we hire, we bring in a lot of people, we help them on internship. If you have a value, you can, we're always looking for good people. We have offices in New York and Miami and Portland and Los Angeles and Dallas, Milwaukee, etc. And if we are looking for interns, yes, we do.
Yeah, and we do things directly and indirectly. So one of the sort of indirect sponsorships, I would say, would be the support of St. Thomas University. Many of our board members are associated with St. Thomas. The 50th year anniversary, we're a sponsor there. So we're trying to help St. Thomas in terms of more of the support structure and building the university to help all of you. And then on a more direct basis, we also have the internships that we will sponsor students from various universities and give them a one-on-one direct with various departments across our company.
And we always say, remember, if you're going to help society, you have to create income and wealth first. In other words, otherwise everybody's poor. And in this case of Perry Ellis and the family, they have been tremendous social entrepreneurs in terms of giving back to the society a significant amount of money and investment. But to me, you know, as a business executive too, the main thing of social entrepreneurship is creating, like in the case of Perry Ellis, 2,500 jobs at a good wage. And I think that's really what it's all about. If you don't have a successful, sustainable business, then you cannot help society and help employment in your community.
Any further questions?
This has been outstanding. Thank you very much.